Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 84 of the Houston Astros franchise here on MLB The Show 20. Today our Astros have two home series against two bottom teams in the American League in the Seattle Mariners and the Detroit Tigers. Perfect timing for a little bit more bounce back after a tough end of the month of August. Now before we jump into the episode, I mentioned that we want to make a couple of moves in the bullpen to help out, and it just happens to be September call-ups. So we're going to call up Andres Munoz, who made two appearances earlier in the season for us. He will be our pitcher call-up for September, and our hitting call-up will be left fielder Kyle Tucker, who was with us last year, has very high potential. It just really hasn't had a spot with us this year just because our outfield is such a logjam. But since we have the extra spot, I don't want to waste him in AAA a little bit longer. I want him to get some more major league experience, so he will be our man for the hitters. Here's a look at both of the lineups. So if you're excited for this one, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. Both rosters about the same. Mariners have their lefty middle between 4 and 7, and then the rest is righties. Dylan Moore is a little bit struggling for them. Speaking of struggling, Joe Musgrove on the mound for Houston, ERA up to now 3.30, as he has still struggled to find his footing since coming over from Pittsburgh. And Connor Pilkington, the lefty, will be on the mound for Seattle, 4.76 ERA, 9 starts so far this season. We're going to start off top one with Dylan Moore, 1-2 to him, and he strikes out on the slider. Musgrove fans the first batter of the day. Tim Lopez up next, 1-0 to Lopez, and he's going to hit this one to right center, but it's going to be caught out there by Josh Reddick for out number 2. And that's going to bring up now Hunter Pence, who with a 3-1 count, grounds it over to Bregman, who fields it, throw it to first, and Musgrove gets a 1-2-3 top of the first. We're going to go bottom 2 now, a little bit farther into the game. Josh Bell now leading off here, and he thinks he took ball 4 for a walk, but instead he took strike number 3. Avisail Garcia up next, 0-1 to him. He gets a high changeup, and he's going to poach it into right field. I think they were playing the shift against him, as the right fielder is way out of position. By the time he gets to the ball, it is already a double for Garcia. Josh Reddick up next, 1-0 to him. He's going to ground it to Shed Long a second. He throws him out quickly at first. Garcia is advanced 90 feet to third. Now Jack Mayfield up next. First pitch to Mayfield. He connects on a fastball to shallow right center and actually gets in front of the right fielder, and that's going to score a run. Not really sure if that is an error, but very awkward play nonetheless. And Mayfield has an RBI. Stubbs up next, 1-1. Turns on a fastball, hits a deep right center, however not deep enough, as it'll be caught for out number 3. But the Astros scored first. How about top 3 now? Jared Kulinick. He will lead off for Seattle, one of their young prospect players. And he's going to strike out to begin the inning. Joe Musgrove doing pretty well so far. Kyle Lewis up next, 1-2, fanned as well. Musgrove back-to-back Ks, numbers 2 and 3 on the day. And then Austin Nola with an 0-1 count. He's going to bloop this one to Bell, who records out number 3. Musgrove's through 3 good innings. Well, bottom 3 now. Jose Altuve with a perfect timing on the high fastball over the wall in left. A solo shot for him, his 19th of the season, goes 387. And the Astros extend their lead here at home, now 2-0, as Altuve continues to swing a hot bat, trying to get back to that form from a couple seasons ago. See, the fans are happy here as they extend their lead. We're going to stay in the bottom of the third. George Springer up next. First pitch to Springer. And he also goes perfect timing to left center. No doubt about this one. Basically the same pitch that Altuve got. The high inside fastball results in the 20th of the season for George Springer. His goes 393. And the balls are starting to launch their way out of Houston, as that is now back-to-back jacks. And it's now a 3-0 game for Houston, as the crowd continues to stand on their feet here in Minute Maid Park. So still nobody out in the bottom of the third. Alex Bregman up next, 2-1. He's not going to go for a home run. Instead, he's going to ground out for the first out of the inning. Yordan Alvarez is up next, 2-1 to Alvarez. And he's going to poach this one and beat the shift. That's where the third baseman would be. However, he is out of position. And Alvarez, since he beat the shift, will have himself a 1-out double as the ball gets all the way to the wall. Josh Bell up next, 3-0. Nothing to do with Bell. Pinkleton misses all 4 pitches. Now we got runners on first and second. 1 out for Garcia. And Garcia turns on a changeup. It's not perfectly timed, but the bat flip is perfectly timed. 3-run blast for Garcia. His 9th homer of the season. And the Houston Astros blowing this game wide open now. 3:77 to left. The train should choose across the tracks. And just like that, it is now 6-0 Houston. And that'll do it for Pilkington. He will come out of the game. The relief will be another lefty in Nestor Cortes Jr., who has an even worse ERA than Pilkington. So, questionable call to continue to go with the lefties, especially since they continue to get rocked. Mayfield is up next. First pitch to Mayfield, a slider, but it's right at the first baseman, and that'll end the bottom of the third finally. Top 4 now. Musgrove continue to do what he does best. Another strikeout, this time on Dylan Moore. Tim Lopez up next, 1-0 to him, and he's going to take this one deep to left, a hanging changeup by Musgrove, and it's going to make him pay as it is over the wall and left. A solo shot for Seattle. They finally get on the board. It's actually the first hit of the ball game, just so happens to go for a home run. Lopez's 5th home run of the season. Will this be a little bit something here for Seattle? Next up, Hunter Pence, 2-1 to Pence, and he hits this one to left center. It's a pop-up into shallow side, and it'll be an easy play for Mayfield for out number 2. Rowdy Tellez up next, 1-1 to Tellez. Opposite field power shown off, gone. Second hit of the game is the second home run of the game. Another solo shot for Seattle. This is Tellez's 22nd of the season. Musgrove, who's pitched pretty good so far, his ERA is not really going to show it, as 2 hits results in 2 home runs. 366 over the left field wall. Now 6-2 Houston. Kyle Seager up next. Very next pitch to Seager is a line drive to right field, and Reddick runs out of space. It's over the wall. About 4 or 5 rows deep. Back-to-back jacks now for Seattle, as that is Seager's 27th of the season, and 3 hits, 3 solo shots for Seattle. So it's trying to keep themselves in this one. It's now 6-3 as the Astros have had their lead cut in half. Shed Long up next, 3-1 to him. Slider cannot catch the zone. And Musgrove maybe losing a little bit of confidence now. Kulinick up next, 1-2 to Kulinick. Hits it into center field. Springer will get underneath it, but not after Seattle gets 3 here in the top of the 4th. How about bottom 5? Yordan Alvarez to lead us off. He's 2 for 2 on the day with a single and a double. Also scored a run. 1-2 from Cortes. Fastball turned on. Alvarez to right at the wall, and it is gone. Solo shot now for Houston as they answer back. Yordan, his 25th of the season, goes 348 over the wall. And Astros will get one of their runs back, as that is the 7th run of the day for Houston, as we continue to see the long balls here in Texas. Next batter up, Josh Bell, 1-1 to Bell. Changeup, perfectly timed, deep center field. And that one is over the wall as well, actually into the porch out there in left center. Bell with a solo shot, now back-to-back jacks for Houston again, as I've lost count to see how many home runs have been hit in this game. I do know, however, that's Bell's 38th of the season. It travels 436, and the Astros get 2 of those runs back already. How about Garcia, who's also been yarded in today's game? He's first pitch swinging, ground out for the first one, so not back-to-back-to-back. Next up, Josh Reddick, 1-0 to Reddick. Changeup, grounds it in the dirt. Another field, another throw to the pitcher for out number 2. Jack Mayfield's turn, 2-0 to Mayfield. Changeup hit deep to right center. Just missed perfect timing, but it's not going to matter. That one's also over the wall. The 3rd home run of the inning for Houston, and a 3rd solo shot as they do exactly what Seattle just did. Mayfield's 2nd home run of the season. He's been phenomenal, actually, since being recalled back up, forcing his way into more plate appearances. It's actually going to do it for Cortes as well. Aaron Fletcher, another lefty, comes into the game, so I'm very intrigued by this lefty trend for Seattle. This is the very first batter. Stubbs hits a ground rule double down the line, so the inning might not be over, but Altuve, high fastball, can't turn on this one. This is out in center. But Houston extends their lead now 9-3. We're going to stay with them bottom 6 as Fletcher will walk the leadoff batter. Springer will take first base. Bregman up next, full count to Bregman, and he turns on a fastball. No doubt about this one. You know Bregman had to get in on the action. One of the favorites for the AL MVP hits his 41st home run of the season. It's a 2-run shot as he'll meet Springer at home plate. 363 to left, and Houston extends their lead to 11-3. 2 outs in the inning now. Get a little bit of a head start. Garcia will fly out to right field, so that'll end at the bottom of the 6th. And Musgrove, who is still on the mound in the 9th, gets the final out, shedded long grounds to 6 to the second baseman, and that'll be your ball game. Houston wins 11-3. Had to skip forward a little bit, turning it into a blowout. But I wanted to show that Joe Musgrove did pitch a complete game. So 3 runs given up for Musgrove in today. However, it wasn't a bad 3 runs. It just so happens to be 3 solo shots. And as you take a look at the scoreboard, those 3 solo shots were 3 out of the 4 hits for Seattle. So Joe Musgrove gets the win. Pilkington gets the loss. Astros bombing out here in the first game of this series. Alvarez is your player of the game. Had 2 doubles and a homer in his 4-for-5 day. As Seattle hit 3 homers, we just so happen to hit 7. So big, good overall performance. However, we couldn't take it into game number 4. As remember, we simulated the first 2 in the last episode, and we lose game 4 to Seattle 4-2 as the offense kind of went slumped in this one. Urquidy did not pitch very good in his own right. So the second half of the episode, we will play home to the 41-98 Detroit Tigers. So another bad team in the AL, as we now sit at 89-52. So another chance to capitalize and maybe extend our AL West lead. Here are your lineups for both squads. Astros, same lineup. Tigers, you can see their lineup on the screen. A lot of cold batters for them. The big name for them, Christian Stewart, the DH. He has been most of the Detroit offense. Demerits hit pretty well, and you'll see former Seattle Mariner Daniel Vogelbach at first base, somebody we are familiar with from last season. On the mound for Houston will be Rogelio Armenteros, who's up to a 4.89 ERA. The struggles have been real the past couple months for him, so hopefully he can turn in a good performance against a struggling Detroit lineup. And opposing him will be Joey Wentz, another lefty this time for Detroit, 4.25 ERA. Hopefully we can get out of after him like we just did to Pilkington. So it'll start off top first. Victor Reyes first at the plate, and the very first pitch we have a base hit as Reyes will reach first base. However, later Riley Green up next, 2-2 to him, 6-4-3 double play. So Armenteros bounces back, and that's going to bring up Christian Stewart, who's hitting 296. 0-1 to him, chopped in front of Stubbs at home plate. He fields it, and Detroit has nothing in the top of the first. Bottom first now for Houston. Their first batter, Altuve, with a quick line out to the hot corner for out number 1. George Springer up next. First pitch swinging. This one's ground to the second baseman, Goodrum, who will field it. And it's a quick 2 outs for Wentz. Now Alex Bregman, 1-2 to Bregman. Fastball, perfect time into center field. And we got a little bit of a 2-out rally here for Houston, as you never can count out these Stros. Next up, Alvarez 2-0, and he gets a hanging changeup. You know he's going to make you pay. That ball is gone. Double-decker out in right field. 2-run shot for Alvarez. His 26th now of the season. Travels 427. And it didn't take long for Houston to pick up right where they left off. And they are up 2-0 quick here in the bottom of the first. They are never out until you get all 3 outs of the inning. So, can Bell keep it going? 2-2 to Bell. Ground, though, into the shortstop. So, no more runs here in the bottom of the first. But they did get 2. How about bottom second? Garcia leading us off. 1-0. Hit right up the middle. Oh, no, that's off of the head of Wentz. I hope he's okay. He will have to come out of the game. They don't think he has a concussion, so that's good. But a scary moment out on the diamond. Hopefully Joey Wentz is okay. But Logan Shore is going to have to come in for Detroit cold off the bench. 6.40 ERA, so this is a tough task for him. He's going to start his day against Reddick, who 1-2. Pitch gets away from the catcher. Garcia actually was stealing a base, too, so he'll get credit for the stolen base. So he's now on second. Later at the at-bat, 3-2 to Reddick. He hits it to right field. This one is over the glove of the right fielder. Garcia held at second. Not sure if that one's going to get caught. So he only advances to third. We have runners on the corners. No outs for Mayfield. 1-2. Changeup hit into the right center gap. He's fallen in love with that place. That one's off of the wall. One run will come around. Reddick coming from first. He's going to score as well. So Mayfield continues to tally up the RBIs. Jack Mayfield has played phenomenal so far in the past couple of weeks. He is on second base, and Stubbs will join him on the base paths as he takes a walk. So still nobody out in the inning. Altuve, though, will change that as he grounds it into 1 out. But runners advance. So second and third now for George Springer. 2-1 to him. He's going to chop it to the third baseman. Runner will come home. However, Stubbs is tagged out at third. So Astros get a run. But it is now 2 outs for Bregman. They're actually going to try to steal a base. That's not going to work out. Springer is thrown out. That's how we end the bottom of the second. Bottom 3 now. Bregman, he'll continue where he left off, and he's going to do that in more than one way. Fastball to left center over the wall. Another home run here for Houston. Bregman, his 42nd of the season. Somebody better check the coal on that train. He might need some refilling with all the action we've seen today. 357 to left field. Another home run for Houston, which means their lead is now 6-0. Alvarez up next, 3-1. He's going to beat the shift. Turns on the fastball. Puts it into center field. And Shore has just not been able to find a rhythm. Getting banged around since coming after the pin. Alvarez currently second on the team in hits, just in case you were wondering. Reddick up next. He's going to hit in the exact same spot that Alvarez did. He's going to be rewarded with a base hit as well. So 2 outs now. Runners on first and second. He's going to bring up Mayfield on a 1-0 count. Gets underneath the fastball. Tried to go gapping again. However, this time unsuccessful. But it's 6-0 Houston, so we're going to try to jump a little faster in this one. And this is what happens. Christian Stewart with a laser to right field. 2 runners were already on, but so that'll be a 3-run blast for him. His 32nd of the season. And just like that, Detroit cuts the lead in half. Now 6-3 Houston. So now it's only a 3-run game, so we're going to slow it back down a little bit. Maybe stick with Detroit here in the top of the 4th. Daniel Vogelbach up next, 0-2, grounder into the shift. That is out number 1. Next up for Detroit, Travis Dimmerett, their hottest batter as of late. But he's going to ground to Bregman, who cleanly fields it, throws him out at first. Nice stretch by Bell. That is out number 2. Catcher Jake Rogers up next, 0-2 to him. He's looking at the high fastball, strike 3 called. So Rotero settles down and gets the next 3 outs. Bottom 4 now, Houston back up at the dish. Stubbs leading us off, grounder up the middle. He can't beat out the throw. Nice play out there in the diamond for out number 1. Altuve up next, 2-2 to Altuve. Turns on a changeup to left field. However, it's not deep enough. Caught at the warning track. What a loud out number 2. And Springer up next, 2-0 to Springer. Turns on a fastball. Hit to right center. That one is out into the bullpen. Another home run for Houston. You see the theme here this episode? 21st of the season for Springer, goes 407. A little bit of opposite field power. And he trots his way around the base paths, showing that he has been worth all 3 years, $36 million 1 year into his contract. Glad we re-signed him in the offseason. Hopefully he can continue to play a big part down the stretch as we continue this playoff push. That'll actually do it, as well as Bo Burrows will come in the game for relief for Shore. 5.38 ERA, not the best for Burrows. As 2 batters later, Bregman full count. He's going to draw the walk. So he will take first base. Not a good start for Burrows. And the next batter, Alvarez's first pitch swinging, but it is popped up to the outfield. So that'll end the bottom of the 4th. The Astros back out to a 4-run lead. So we're going to go a little bit faster, and this is what happens again. 2 runners on, nobody out in the top of the 5th, and Geraldo will bring a run in. So Detroit tries to get it back underneath 3, and Armenteros is in a jam. Reyes up next, blooper into center. It's going to get down. Springer playing it a little safe. And we got bases loaded, nobody out. So Detroit, really good chance to get back in this one. Green, though, hot shot to third base. Bregman gloves it, out number 1. Christian Stewart up next, deep to left center. Garcia is going back. He's going to make the catch. However, Stewart will be counted with the sacrifice fly. Detroit gets 1. It's now 7-5 Houston. Only a 2-run lead. Vogelbach up next. Grounds to the shortstop. Mayfield fields it. But don't look now. It's 7-5. Don't let the long balls deceive you. It's now bottom 5. Bell first at the dish. Grounder. And the throw is out of the way of the pitcher. Bad throw by Vogelbach as Bell will get on base because of the E3. Garcia up next. First pitch swing. It hits a slider deep left center. Center fielder is back, and he's going to miss the ball. Very nonchalant attempt at a grab. Goes past his glove. They're going to give him a double on that. I don't think Garcia should have been counted with a hit. I think that's more of an E8. But nonetheless, runner second and third, nobody out. Reddick grounds it to Vogelbach at first. That'll be out number 1. Runners stay home. Mayfield up next, though, 0-1. You know where he's going. Perfect timing into the gap up against the wall. Another bases clearing double for Mayfield. That counts in 2 runs. So the Astros answer right back. They extend their lead back to 4. Mayfield has had so many RBIs just this episode. Stubbs up next. He will draw the walk. So runners on first and second, 1 out. Altuve up next. This one's in the dirt. I actually thought I was going to get away from the catcher, but Rogers with a nice stop. And Mayfield is thrown out at second for out number 2. So bad base running mistake for Houston. And Altuve later in the at-bat, he strikes out looking on the fastball. So quiet way to end the bottom of the 5th. But now we're going to go into the 6th. Zach Godley's going to come into the game as Burrows allowed 1 base runner. So his very first batter, though, is Jordan Alvarez, and he takes him deep to right center. This one over the bullpen. Jordan Alvarez with another home run this episode. 2-run shot this time. His 27th of the season. Goes .439. And Houston continues to swing the hot bat. Another bases trot here for Houston. And they extend their lead. Now they have 11-5. Beldow up next, 1-1. Other way shot on a low sinker. That one is gone. Just shy of the orange Nike sign out there. So, back-to-back jacks again for Houston. They might as well just park the train on the other side. As Bell, his 39th of the season, goes .387 opposite field. This lineup is just super scary. Garcia up next. He'll draw a 4-pitch walk, so he will take first base. Godley off to a horrid start here in the bottom of the 6th. Reddick up next, 3-1 to Reddick. He's going to line this one at the hot corner. Seen that quite a few times today. And then Mayfield tries to go opposite field into the gap again, but he gets a base hit, so can't really blame him there. So Stubbs back up at the dish, and the very first pitch, we get a little bit of awkward motion as Garcia is flat-footed, not moving on the base path. So very odd way to end the bottom of the 6th. So we're going to go top 7. Armentero still in the ball game, and he's still allowing runs as well as Detroit gets another one in the top of the 7th. Vogelbach up next will ground out, so Altuve fields it, throws him out at first. So Detroit gets 1 in the top of the 7th. And instead of going to Armentero's longer in the top of the 8th because he did allow a leadoff double, we're finally going to turn over to the bullpen in Chris Devinsky, who 3 batters later gives up the run. As on 2 outs, that's a single into center. It's now 12-7 Detroit. Next batter, though, Miguel Geraldo. Line out at Altuve. That's going to end the top of the 8th. That's going to end the scoring in this game, and that's going to end it as well. As Houston wins a high-scoring slugfest here at Minute Maid Park, 12-7. 17 hits for Houston, 14 for Detroit. Statement win for Houston. However, a little bit concerning that one of the worst hitting teams in the league we give up 7 runs to. So Armenteros continues to struggle in his pitching. Don't overlook past that, despite the fact that we went long again, this time 5 times. Game 2 of the series, we do win 5-0, so we do turn in a good pitching performance. It's a 2-hitter for Justin Verlander, trying to show that he's still got a lot left back in the tank as we hand Detroit their 100th loss of the season. Verlander went the whole game with 7 strikeouts. Then in Game 3, we sweep Detroit as we win 9-3. This time, all 9 runs coming in 2 innings, courtesy of Alvarez, Bregman, Bell, Springer, and Diaz with 4 RBIs despite no home runs. So a good way to end the episode with the Detroit sweep. Next episode, we'll have our 3-game home series against Texas. Last time we'll see them at home. Then we're going to travel to the south side with Chicago, who could be a potential first-round matchup in the ALDS. So we'll talk more about the next episode. Musgrove, we'll see him again, but good overall performance for Houston. Balls were just flying this episode, but thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.